The next story is how Juan married a princess. How Juan married a princess. How Juan is a man's name, married a princess. How did he marry? Okay. Juan is a gambler. Anyway, a long time ago, in the Philippines, not in China, but in the Philippines, a long time ago in the Philippines, there was a man, and his name was Juan. And he was a gambler. Gamble. He was a gambler. He played with cards, okay? And he played with a dice. You know, dice. Dice is a, okay, 1, 2, dice. So he played. He's a gambler. Now, when he gambled, usually he lost. Most of the times he lost. Sometimes he won. Sometimes he won. But usually he lost. And one day he lost everything. I don't know what he owned. I don't know, he might have owned a little house, but he lost it. He might have had some furniture, but then he lost them all. And he lost everything. No money. Penniless. No money. So Juan is a gambler. And so he decided, well, I will leave this country or this land and I will go to a next place to see if I will be lucky. So he began to seek his fortune. He left his place and he went out to seek his good luck, fortune. Fortune is good luck, like fortune cookie. But anyway, so he left and he went into the world to seek his fortune. Now, when he was walking, he saw something on the street. He saw something in the dust or dirt, or in the dirt, or in the I don't know, whatever it was, the sand ground. So he found something was shining. Something was shining in the dirt or in the dust. And so he went there and he picked it up, and it was money. And I don't know how much it was. Maybe it could have been like, I don't know, $2 or $5 or I don't know. But anyway, it was money, money enough to buy something. And he was happy. He said, oh, good. This is good luck. This centavo is going to, this was a centavo. This centavo is going to make me rich, he said. He's a gambler. And so he picked up this money. And he began to walk into town. And then he came to a cake shop, a bread shop. Okay? He came to a place where they sell bread, bakery. And so he came to the bakery and he bought a loaf of bread. He bought a loaf of bread because he was hungry. But because he is a gambler, he didn't eat all of it. He only ate half the bread, and he began to walk again. But when he was walking, he became tired, and so he sat down next to a barber shop. Barber shop means the haircut place. You know, the man cut your hair. Ta, 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 ta. So he came to a barber shop, and he sat down outside of the shop, and he ate half of the bread, and he had half of the bread, the other half. Okay, he ate 50% of the bread, but he still had the other 50%. So he put it in his pocket. And he went to sleep. Then what happened was, from the barber shop came out a chicken. And the chicken came quack, 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 quack. And the chicken smelled this bread, and so the chicken ate the bread. Juan, he woke up and he said to the chicken, "Chicken, I found a centavo. I found the money, so it was mine. Money was mine. And then I bought the bread with the centavo. Therefore, the bread was mine. I only ate half the bread, and you ate the other half the bread, and the other half the bread is in your stomach, in your body. You ate it. The chicken ate it, so it's in your stomach, right here." He said, therefore means so, okay, therefore, so you are mine. You belong to me. You belong to me. You are my property. Property means my stuff, my possession. He said, "You're mine. You belong to me." And so he picked up the bird. He picked up the chicken. And he was going to walk away. And then the barber, the man from the barber shop, came out, and the barber said, "Hey, what are you doing with my chicken?" "That's my chicken," the barber said. Then he said, "Oh no, this is my chicken now." And he explained, just like he did to the chicken, "I found the centavo, therefore the centavo was mine. I bought the bread with my centavo, therefore the bread was mine. I only ate the bread, half the bread, and then I left the other half the bread in my pocket, and the chicken ate the bread, and the bread is in the chicken's stomach, therefore the chicken is mine. The chicken belongs to me. The chicken is my property," he said to the barber. Now the barber heard this, and he was confused. Really? Is that the way how it works? I'm not sure. He was confused. Really? I'm not sure how that's the way how it works. He was confused, but then he said, "Okay, you can have my chicken," he said. So Juan got the chicken. Now, because he's a gambler. So he was walking with the chicken, and he came to another shop, and then he sat down with the chicken because he was tired, and he sat down with the chicken. And then from this store came out a dog. Ruff, 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 ruff. The dog was hungry, and therefore the dog killed the chicken, and the dog ate the chicken. Now, the same thing happened. The Juan got up and said to the dog, "Dog," he said, "you ate my chicken. My chicken is now in your stomach. Therefore, you belong to me. You are mine." And so he took the dog with him, okay? He took the dog with him. he got the dog with him, and he began to walk. Now, he was walking, and he came to a house, and there was this big wall around it, and he was very, very thirsty. He was very thirsty. So he tied the dog. There was this big iron pole. No, it's like something like that. I don't know, maybe it was round. But there was this stick. Stick was going up like this. A pole. Iron means heavy. And so Juan tied the dog. He tied the dog here. Okay. He tied the dog here, and Juan went inside and knocked on the door and asked for a glass of water. He had some glass of water, and then he came outside to take the dog. Then while he was in the house drinking water, this iron pole, bang, fell on the dog. Bang, fell on the dog, and the dog was dead. Juan was not happy. He said to the iron pole. He talked to the iron pole. He said, "Iron pole, you killed my dog, therefore you are mine," he said. Okay? So now he said the iron pole, it was his property. The man in the house came out, and the man in the house said to Juan. He said, "What are you doing with my iron pole? You cannot take my iron pole with you." And he said, "You see, this is his argument. His logic is, because he found a centavo in the dust, that was his. The centavo was his. He bought the bread with his money, therefore the bread was his. Bread was his stuff. And then he only ate half of it, and the other half was eaten by the chicken, and so the chicken became his property. And then the dog came and ate the chicken, therefore the dog became his property. And now this iron pole killed the dog, therefore the iron pole became his property." That was his logic. That was his argument. The man in the house, he was confused. Everybody's confused. Really? He's confused. I'm not sure how that works. But he said, "Okay, you can have my iron pole." So he took the iron pole and he began to walk. And he was walking and walking and walking. And he came to a big river. And Juan sat down near the river, and he threw the iron pole in the air. He tossed it, throw, yeah. He threw the iron pole. He tossed the iron pole into the air, into the air, and he was catching it, and he threw it, and he was catching it, and he was playing with the iron pole. Then suddenly the iron pole fell into the river. And the river was a deep river, and therefore it sank to the bottom, and Juan could not pick it up. He could not retrieve it. He could not get it back. And so what he said was, he stood up, and he said to the river. He called river. He called the river. He said, "River," he said, "River." He talked to the river. He said, "Now you are my property. You are mine." And then he said, anybody who came and stepped into my river, anybody who came and got into, anybody who came and went into my river, then that person is mine, he said. He just said it to himself. He wasn't saying to anybody. He was saying that to himself. Somebody who came and if somebody came and put her or his foot into the river, the person is going to be mine. That's what he decided, all on his own, by himself. Well, that day, guess what? A beautiful princess came. And she came, and she wanted to play in the water. She came and put her foot into the river. And then Juan said to the princess, he said, "Oh, princess," he said, "now that you put your foot into my river, you are mine, you belong to me," he said to the princess. The princess said, "Really?" She said, "I don't know why, but let's go and ask my father. He is king, he knows everything." So Juan and the princess went to talk to the princess's father, the king. And so Juan came, Juan came, king, this is king. And Juan came and said to the king, he said the same thing. "You see," he said, "do you understand, king?" He said, "I found a centavo in the dust. Therefore, the centavo was mine. Then I bought a loaf of bread. Therefore, the loaf of bread was mine. But I ate only half of it, and I left the half of it in my pocket. And then a chicken came and ate the bread, the other half of the bread. And so the chicken became my property because my bread was in its stomach. And then the dog came and ate my chicken. And so my chicken was in the dog's stomach. Therefore, the dog became my property. And then there was a pole which fell on my dog, and it killed my dog. And therefore, the iron pole became my property. And then when I was playing with the iron pole, when I was tossing it into the air and catching it and playing, the iron pole fell into the water, and therefore the river became my property. And then your daughter, the princess, came and stepped into my water, the river. Therefore, your princess is now my property," he said. The king listened to this argument, this logic, and this king thought, "Oh, that is a very good argument. You are very smart," he said to Juan. He said, "Okay, you can marry my daughter." This is how a gambler, Juan, could marry a princess. The end.